Kidding aside, hey, what's up? It's your boy Soul or Rich. I go by either one. It doesn't matter. We're gonna get right to it right now. Today, as you can see on your screen, is my finished version of my YuYu Hakusho crossover with Sailor Moon. And there's actually a specific reason I chose this exactly, because apparently a lot of people didn't know this. I thought some people knew, but apparently a whole lot don't. The creators for YuYu Hakusho and Sailor Moon are married. Have been married since those series started, and to this very day, they're still married. They've been around for a long time, guys. All right, and the creator of YuYu Hakusho, I gotta read off my screen here. Yoshihiro Togashi and his wife Naoko Takaguchi. I'm probably saying these names terribly. I'm gonna butcher the crap out of these names. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry for Sailor Moon fans, because I do like Sailor Moon. I used to watch it back in the '90s, the English version one. And then I later on watched the remake, redubbing, whatever you want to call it. And both series I actually like for two totally different reasons. I know some are going, well, because one's made for girls, made for boys, but that's not entirely true. Both series are made for action and romanticism of, adventure and kicking ass. There's nothing wrong with that. I totally respect women that kick ass, and I respect, like, a group of dudes kicking some ass and taking names. Those are two type of things, tropes I've always loved in, like, any medium, period. We're gonna get right to it, right? So, here we go. I'm gonna show you how I did this. Okay, so when I started off, I made figures from, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. No JoJo pose. We're gonna make a counter for this, aren't we? I can see that. And as you can see here, I started off with these poses. And I just started, going at it. And I made sure that I first with Yosuke, the main character of the series of YuYu Hakusho. And I just went in. Oh, you can see right here. Go back a little bit. That's where I got it from, the JoJo pose. It's from the original JoJo series. And I just used these as my templates for all characters. So I'm going in, make sure it looks right. And then, okay, here's the hard part about this. For those like anime and all that, see, I don't actually really draw in the anime style. People say they remind them of anime. That's fine. The thing is, I'm actually not really inspired by anime. I love anime, sure, but there's a big difference between loving it and being inspired by it. I actually am very much inspired by the original 1992 series, Batman anime series, which is an Art Deco style. I love that style way more. And I draw more like an animated series type of style when I do freehand. But I can see people think, anime. I understand that. I get it. I do like anime. I do. Nothing wrong with it. You can like anime. It's fine. I just like other stuff too. I'm more comic book stuff. I do read manga though. Yeah. I watch anime and all that junk. That's totally fine. Whatever. You do you, bro. You do you. And I'm getting all the characters in there. So what I did was I put a template over each character to showcase them. And it's also, you see right there, I'm kind of like messing around a little bit there. Because I'm testing out the shade of each character. So I'm gonna be sure like the lights don't like overpower any of these figures as I go into it and all that. So I'm doing really I'm just basically etching them all in there, one by a time. Oh, by the way, that's my favorite character on the left there, Kuwabara from YuYu Hakusho. That's my favorite guy. I love Kuwabara. He's my boy. Just that first sound, I knew that was my boy right there. I love his attitude. He's like a total freaking idiot, but you gotta admire his spirit though. I can't help it. I like the goofball characters. I like them a little more. He's a typical like tough guy type character, but it's hard to go. I like that. I just love it. And I'm just going through this, get him in there. Obviously, and of course I got Serena from Sailor Moon, or Usagi. That's the Japanese name for Serena. Because when she was introduced like in the 90s for syndication and all that, some of y'all probably were introduced by Toonami. That's fine. I'm talking about back in the 90s when Toonami was not even a thing yet. Like way back when Toonami was not a thing. Not yet. And I remember they had it like early morning and stuff. And no guy that ever watched that show will probably admit they watched at the time. But I'm going to admit it, yeah, I watched the Sailor Moon show when I was a kid. Mostly because it helped through puberty. Let's just say that. Yeah, we're all sick. I know. They're 14. That's terrible. Yeah, I went through each character here. I want to be sure I got perspective. Again, the hardest part about this was just getting the animation styles right, because again, I don't really draw in that style. I draw a little half realistic, I guess the best way to describe it for me is I do caricatures. So I don't quite do anime style. I do more my own thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a mix mash of things. So it's not just the one thing. I do other things too. And I mean, if you see my other videos, and I probably have it linking it at the end of this video, more stuff, examples of how I draw, because I want you to understand how I do it, and maybe apply it to yourself later on. Who knows? And it's not for your style. That's okay. It's fine, man. I've seen all sorts of styles, and I found out the one that works for me the best. I say stick to what you know. Okay, and for this half of the video, what I did was I just started putting them all in there. Now, here's the hard part. I want to make sure the light is there because I want to figure out exactly how they stand. By the way, that's Amy from Sailor Moon, aka Sailor Mercury. She is the brains of the group, pretty much. And I want to make sure, like, I got their Sailor Scout outfits correct, and make sure it's pretty accurate to how they stand. Because the thing is, I'm trying to do a Jojo pose reference. I'm also trying to make sure I'm referencing the actual characters that fits within that, that pose. And right here is my favorite Sailor Moon character. That's Ray, aka Sailor Mars. That's my favorite one. I just like the character. I don't know why. And the hardest part about this was embarrassingly have to make sure that I get each girl's uniform right. Because a few times where that uniform was riding up a little too high even for me. These girls are 14. Canonically, I'm not gonna push the envelope on that one. No. Japan, you're messed up. Just want to say it. Japan, you're crazy. All right, you are legit crazy, Japan. And make sure I got the pose right. I'm going for the other characters and making sure they're in there. I got Hiei in there, and of course, I'm putting the colors next and the shadow. Shadows weren't that bad. I just have to smooth it out a little bit. Make sure that each color represents the character pretty well, and I think it did. After that, add more lighting to it and make sure the figure looks right, or at least respective to each character. Obviously putting the lights in, all that. By the way, the tool I'm using is like a glow tool. I'm not using a color dodge or even a dodge tool at all. I'm actually using, it's just a tool that glows up certain areas on purpose. So basically, any surface that I touch, it'll reflect off the color that I selected, and then I'll also basically just brighten it up each time I tap right on that sucker. So I'm just tapping constantly. That's what you're really seeing. I'm just looking at it, just tap. That's all I'm doing. I just keep going and going until it works out the way I want it to. But I think this color works well for each character. I have to make sure that they don't get lost in the figure. That's the hard part. Just make sure they don't get lost in there, because when you do a piece like this, you can lose any information. You gotta be like almost a surgeon right in that sucker, and you might miss a few things. I try not to, but sometimes I'm gonna miss it. I can't. I'm human, dude. I'm gonna miss something, no matter what I do. And we're getting in there, and I'm pretty satisfied with how it's looking, especially like when that came out for Yusuke. That came out really well. And then finally, by the end of it, I came out with this. This is the full-scale version of a design I did for Yu Hakusho crossover with Sailor Moon. Because, again, those series are actually interconnected because the creators are married to each other in real life. Yeah! That's a little known fact for a lot of people. It's crazy. Yeah, so basically, for each series, they influence one another, and you can kind of see it with the series of both. I mean, think about it for a second. One series is about a teenager who finds out they have powers, and they slowly gain a group of other people with similar powers, or power set that kind of basically either influence the other one or helps elevate the other one. And when you think about it, yeah, that does make a lot of sense that those series are actually interconnected with each other. I mean, if you watch both series again, you can kind of argue that they might be straight up in the same universe. I know they're not, but they could be. I mean, you never know, man. Oh, and by the way, fun little fact, the creator of Yu Hakusho, the manga series itself was not that long at all. Some people don't know about Yu Hakusho. The manga was only about, I believe, 27 volumes, and that was it. And the reason for that was mostly because, well, in Japan, for Shonen Jump, you gotta do it like, when you're part of Shonen Jump, you gotta do that shit like weekly, dude. You gotta update your manga weekly. So those authors are like dead tired. Like, they can only make up so much stuff. Or they try to take breaks every so often, but they can't take too many breaks because then they lose the ranking. Japan's logic is way different. Oh, but let me show you how I did this real quick. Right here, right? Where you see those little dots? What I did was, I did a copy of the layer that you see here, and then I made a halftone layer, and then I turned down the opacity. So when the opacity is turned down, it looks like it's more natural lighting coming out. Look at that. Like right there. Like right here, exactly. You can see it here, see it over here. And you can tell who, especially the series pretty well, you can tell who is who and what it represents for each one. And it actually works very well for each character. I love the way this came out, and I'm very proud of this. And I'm definitely keeping this. This is This sucker's a keeper, man. I love it. All right. That's really all I wanted to share today with you. So this crossover is great. I love it. It came out just exactly what I wanted. I mean, I had struggled with it at first because, again, dude, trying to copy an art style, especially because, I mean, I was only just looking at the art style. I didn't even, like, trace or nothing. The only thing I traced was just the poses. That's it. Pose was the only trace I did. Beyond that, everything else is all freehand. Everything is freehand here. But this still came out pretty decent, I think. Yeah, it did. Okay, so I'm sorry, but I gotta plug these, and I'll add it's all down there in the links, descriptions, all that stuff. See that stuff down there? That stuff I write out, all that very detailed stuff I do. Yeah, there's a reason for that. It's to help, make it better. I want to give you a better camera. I mean, dude, I'm using like my webcam right now. Okay, that's what I'm using. That's all I got. I want a better camera. I'm gonna get a better camera. I promise. But I don't have the budget. I just don't have the budget for that. I'll get to it though. We'll get there. Yeah. Put in the comments what you think I should possibly do next. Possibly. I'm not saying I'll do it. I'll just say I'll put it on the docket. You know what I'm saying? I'll consider it. We know help even better though. If you go to my links, once again, sorry, I gotta plug it right there in the links where it says Patreon. Try that. Try Patreon. Give it a shot. Particularly my tiers. I mentioned quite a few things that might be related to this. You don't know, man. I'm just saying, you don't know. In case you're wondering, yes, I do have commissions open as well, also on Patreon and on Fiverr. Again, those links are at the bottom. I'm going to keep pointing that bottom until you actually look at it or click on it. Once you click on it, give it a shot. Just see what happens. I don't know. I don't know. See what happens. Just go ahead. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got for today. If you want, you can please go to the next video I got, or you can just click off out of here. I know it's somewhere at the top. I don't know where at the top. Somewhere. I don't know. It's up there, man. I can't control that. But I'm hoping that you enjoyed it, and maybe you learned something too. And I try to give much tips as possible, and I just want to be sure that people just, get through this, because we're all trapped in here. We're all trapped together. Might as well do something, right? All right. Anyway, you take care, all right? Peace.